They said, I can do what I please. You'll never succeed. You're too young. You got no money. You don't have enough followers. Are you crazy? Yeah, I heard all of it.
Yeah. They tried to box me in early, told me stay in my lane, repeat grade suspensions, punished for thinking my way, pull your socks up, head down, don't question the line, but I never fit the system, I was busy redesigning mine, we think different, 1% wired, rules with suggestions, not limits, just fuel for the fire, told to behave to conform, to keep quiet and play small, but we weren't built for permission, we were built to build it all.
They said I can, I said I will, just watch me.
This is Monday Night Live, we're going legendary. We ain't built to be ordinary. Catch me live on LinkedIn and YouTube, dropping value for you and you and you and you. Together let's make it, together let's move. This is Monday Night Live, we don't follow trends, we set them. We don't wait for luck, we weaponize momentum. I didn't fit in a school, didn't fit in the room, didn't fit the mold, so I built something new. Now clients change lives, businesses transform. Almost $1 billion built from strategies born. Leads coming daily, deals getting closed, systems at scale while you're still chasing hope. This ain't hustle porn, this is structure and truth. Real relationships beat algorithms and views. Likes don't pay bills, let's say it louder. Relationships do, that's real power. Most businesses chasing flings, one night stands. We're building families, trust, long-term plans. If you know the difference, you're my type of people.
I still face pressure, I still face doubt. Every damn day I figure it out. But I was built for this weight, built for this fight. This isn't luck, it's decades and nights. Nathaniel Bibby, name holds weight. Bibby Media Group, yeah, that's legacy in the making. 25 years in the game, scars and receipts. Thailand, Hong Kong, worldwide. Learn how business really beats. Sales is human, marketing's trust. No shortcuts here, just skill, time, and us. Let's get down to business. Drop it in the comments. Monday Night Live, this is Monday Night Live. Show up weekly, change your story. Come for the tactics, stay for the identity. This is Monday Night Live. 1 year from now, you won't recognize your business. Different thinking, different standards, different results. We ain't built to be ordinary, we're built to be undeniable. And you motherfuckers can't stop me. Drop it in the comments. Pull up live, let's build something real. Monday Night Live, Monday Night Live. This is Monday Night Live. Show up weekly, change your story. Come for the tactics, stay for the identity. This is Monday Night Live. 1 year from now you won't recognize your business. Different thinking, different standards, different results. We ain't built to be ordinary. We ain't built to be ordinary. We ain't built to be ordinary.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday night. Here we are. We're all pumped up from the intro tracks. Drop in the comments, say what's up. Tonight, we have a topic which I believe to be the most important topic of 2026. I'm not here to teach you tonight about how to build a personal brand like it's some cute little side quest. I'm here to show you how personal branding actually works in the real world with real examples so you can stop chasing vanity and start building something that turns into relationships, trust, and something we all love, moolah. So drop in the comments, say what's up. Let me know where you're tuning in from. It's another very warm day here in Perth. Drop in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from, who we got on the call. Good to see some comments coming through. Okay, we'll get this out of the way early. Likes don't pay the bills. They don't, okay? They don't cover payroll. They don't pay your rent. They don't pay for school fees. They don't even pay for a decent bottle of red on a Monday night. And if you've been treating LinkedIn like a popularity contest, look, I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you the truth. Followers, they don't really matter when it comes to business. Relationships do, okay? And so you'll notice that it's a common thread with everything I talk about. But personal brand is going to be the differentiator. With the world of AI, if you don't have a personal brand, you're marketing with one hand behind your back. We got Perth in the house. Hey, Tariq, how you doing, man? And Hazibul, hello, how are you? Who else we got, guys? Drop in the comments, say what's up. And don't be afraid to ask questions, add comments as we go. Monday Night Live is a community. It's a movement. We are here every week with a different topic. You can't build a relationship with someone while you're trying to extract value from them. Think about that. You can't build a real relationship with someone while you're trying to extract value from another human, right? You can't. Like if you show up to someone else's feed, like, hey, buy my stuff or book a call or join my program before you've even shown them that you care, you're not building a brand. You're asking a stranger for favors, right? So the people that are going to take you up on those favors, they probably got too much time on their hands, okay? Tonight I'm going deep on examples, not theory. Like I'm going to go through some brands. Nice to see Storm Dawson in the house. I was wondering when you're going to chime in there. Real human brands, they dominate attention, okay? They dominate conversation. They build tribes of people who would defend you in the comment section, okay? So the guys that we're going to look at, I've picked a few personal brands to go through with you tonight. They're personal brands that I'm very familiar with, so hopefully you are as well. We're going to go through Gary Vee, Jordan Peterson, Elon Musk, Eminem, and Oprah, because we need to have a woman in there, don't we? Okay, before we even start, I'm going to warn you about something that will save you a lot of stress. Like they're all polarizing. So you either love them or you hate them, okay? Well, not many people hate Oprah, but the rest of them, you love or hate them, right? And we'll talk about why in a minute as well. But that's why they're big. That's why they're talked about. That's why they have tribes. And that's why if you actually build a real personal brand, you're going to get haters, okay? Because you're polarizing, okay? It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's actually because you're doing it right. You know, it's one of the pieces of advice that Grant Cardone gave me off camera was you need more haters, man. You need to have bigger opinions, okay? So if your goal is to be liked by everyone, you're about to build the safest, blandest, and most forgettable personal brand on earth. Something I always say, right, is you can't fit in and stand out at the same time. Remember that, okay? You can't fit in and stand out at the same time. Makes sense, doesn't it? But you can't be beige and be liked, or you've got to have some spine if you're going to be remembered, you know? So so we're clear, being polarizing doesn't mean being an asshole. It means having a point of view, right? I think people misunderstand that. It means drawing a line. It means saying, this is what I believe. This is what I think is wrong. And that's how tribes form. Okay, tribes don't form around, kinda, or maybe this, maybe that. Tribes form around conviction. So what I want you to do as I'm going through this tonight is think about how what I'm sharing with you applies for your brand. Okay, so what is it that you believe about your industry? What is it that you believe that most people don't? What do you think some of the mistakes people make? Do you have a common enemy that you can share with your audience? Common enemy is one of the quickest ways to build a tribe. Okay. Sounds pretty like, aggressive or confrontational. Doesn't have to be. My common enemy with my clients, I will share things from myself and my personal brand as we go. By the way, I was interviewed by the Social Media College about how to build a personal brand for their personal branding course. And one of the first questions they asked me, because they're using this Expert Insights to create the course. One of the first things they asked me is, do you have a personal branding strategy? And I went, no. And everyone laughed. The cameraman laughed. Everyone was laughing. Here I am sitting down to do give them content for a personal branding course. Don't have a strategy. So what I've actually done is I guess I've done it intuitively, instinctively, but then I've looked back and I've developed frameworks from what's worked. And that's how I've developed my strategy, to be honest. My common enemy I share with my clients is digital agencies. 90% of digital agencies have about 50 clients for one account manager. Right? So they spend all of their resources and all of their staff and all their money on sales. Then they have very little left for delivery. So they offer guarantees up front, that kind of stuff. And most people get burned. Everyone's been burned by digital agencies, right? I'm not saying they're all bad. About 90% are. It's a very immature industry. It's not regulated. All you have to do is know a little bit more than your client. And a lot of them are very, front loaded on sales and don't deliver good customer service. And so you can easily spend, $100,000, $150,000, and 6 months later you've got nothing to show for it. I mean, in fact, like you're actually behind because it's not like you just get zero ROI, because all of the time you've invested, all of the money you've invested, I mean, all that time spent trying to explain to them, about your brand and they've just said, put more money into it, put more money into it. Think about the opportunity cost, right? Hey, good to see Jeff in the house. Mate, welcome. Go connect with Jeff if you haven't. Jeff's going live as well. Dwayne, how are you, my friend? Storm, you're going to enjoy this one tonight. We've got some killer examples. So here's what I want you to feel by the end of this live. Personal branding isn't about attention. Attention is the entry price, okay? Personal branding is about trust. Everything that I talk about, it's a different topic every week, right? You think about it, they're all about trust. Trust is what turns content into conversations, conversations into relationships, relationships into revenue. And for anyone who needs to hear this tonight, because I know some of you do, you are awesome. Your story is worth hearing. Everything that you've been through in your life, you've made it through, and everything you're going through right now, you'll make it through as well. You're already awesome. So be proud of yourself. Okay, it's a lot easier to show up as who you really are and build a personal brand than somebody you're not, because then you can throw your flaws in and all sorts. I'm going to show you a video actually before we get started. Let's do this. Okay, I hope there's some Eminem fans here, right? There's something that Eminem does at the end of 8 Mile, okay, that causes him to win the last freestyle battle. I'm just going to play you a quick clip and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, all right. I think this is going to be useful. I've never tried this before, but let's try and do this. And this is incorporating some of my personal brand, right? Because if you know me, you know I'm a big hip hop fan. Okay, let's go.
This guy ain't no motherfucking MC. I know everything he's about to say against me. I am white. I am a fucking punk. I do live in a trailer with my mom. My boy Future is an Uncle Tom. I do got a dumb friend named Cheddar Bob who shoots himself in his leg with his own gun. I did get jumped by all 6 of you chumps.
I might even play that again in a bit, but so I've cut straight to the bit where he basically thinks about everything that the other rapper could use against him in the freestyle battle, and he says it first. He outlines all of his flaws, right? Says about he lives in a trailer with his mom and all the other things that he's going to get teased for. Very important lesson for personal branding, right? Drop in the comments what you took away from that. It's not about just sharing your strength, is it? It's about sharing all of you. And so that means being vulnerable, okay? A lot of people don't want to be vulnerable, but the moment you do it is the moment you build trust, because no one expects a human to be perfect. Not every human is. So like the biggest personal brands I think of, Richard Branson, right? He's very vocal about the fact that he's dyslexic. In fact, he doesn't even look at it as a flaw. It's a strength, right? Because everything has got a yin and yang to it, hasn't it? So it's about how you frame it. I'm not saying that you should use your personal life as like an emotion, your social media as an emotional dumping ground for your personal life. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you show up authentically as yourself, you are going to have to share, some things that maybe you're not as proud of or you're not as good at. But the thing is, if you're being authentic, it'll be consistent. And that's how you build trust. Okay. One of the quickest ways, and I do this every time I do a keynote, as soon as I get on stage, I don't have scripted keynotes, as you probably noticed from Monday Night Live. But when I'm doing a live talk, the first thing I do before I talk about anything is I share a vulnerable story. I don't care what it is, but I show some vulnerability because that's how you build trust with the audience very quickly. Okay. So first of all, personal brands, nothing to do with a logo. Doesn't mean getting your name done in a certain font with certain colors. Okay. It's not your vibe. And it's definitely not your headshot where you're looking off into the distance like you're about to drop an Eminem album. That's probably not a good example. But your personal branding is about your reputation. Your reputation, okay? Personal branding equals reputation. Maybe write that down. It's what people believe about you before they've met you. It's what they feel when they see your name pop up. It's the story they tell themselves about you. And you can change the story, don't get me wrong, but unless you're proactively doing something to change the story, it won't change, okay? Personal branding is important. And the way you build that story is not by trying to look impressive. It's by being useful, being consistent, and being real. What are your values? What are your beliefs? We're going to talk about these people that I think have done a fantastic job of this, in particular Oprah, who we're going to save to last. But if you want people to care about your content, you have to care about them first. Think about that. This is the mistake that most content marketers make. If you want people to give a fuck about your content, try giving a fuck about them first. That's the whole game. Okay, let's go into some examples. Gary Vee. Gary Vee's done a good job of personal branding. Let me know if you know who Gary Vee is in the comments. In fact, tag him. Let's get him on the live. What time is it in New York? Have we got any people from New York here? Most people think Gary Vee is just a loud guy who tells you to work hard, right? Underneath the surface, Gary is a distribution weapon, right? Wearing sneakers. He's a media company wearing a hoodie. That's a good one. Okay, so Gary didn't start as Gary Vee, the marketing prophet. He was in the family business, talking about wine. Most people know this story. Why? Because he's a storyteller, right? What does Gary do that most content marketers don't do? Gary Vee actually built his brand initially by showing up in the comments, right? Being part of the conversation. He was at one point spending like 6 hours a day on Twitter, right? Just active in the comments. But here's the thing. It's not about just writing comments. What is it about? It's about listening. See, he was listening to his audience, right? What they want, what they're interested in. When he started talking about marketing, he was not talking about not caring what other people think. He was not talking about kindness. He was not talking about empathy. These are things that he gained insights from the comments. Because Gary Vee always optimizes to the feedback he gets in the comments and which videos do best, and he's always trying different things, he learns quicker than anyone else. He's posting 100 times a day across all the social platforms at least, right? So gets feedback quicker than anyone else, right? This is why we build the behind the brand system that I do for my clients, where we create content, we create 30 videos in one interview, because when we post those 30 videos, we get all this insights, what topics your audience is interested in. Your audience is different to mine. And then we create the next lot of videos. We optimize it to the audience. And so your content's always getting better. That's how you optimize for the audience. Now, go away and get an engagement pod where you're sharing links to posts and commenting on everyone else's posts so they comment on yours. You're not learning anything, right? So you never get better. So you never build an audience, okay? Authenticity. Gary built familiarity through repetition, and he built trust by being human in public and documenting the journey. Didn't he? Everyone always says, oh, Gary Vee, yeah, but he's got a team. He's got so many resources. I'll tell you right now, he'd be just as successful without a team. It's the psychology, okay? And some of his best videos, by the way, they don't have great audio and great... In fact, what's this that's here, popped up just here? Let's have a look at this, shall we?
People buy from people. A head of product made a boring video that had 70 freaking views on LinkedIn, but he was wearing a Bears t-shirt, and somebody bought their SaaS product because they're a Bears fan too, because people buy from people. Yeah. If you do it, really do it, it becomes what I am. You become a practitioner of marketing. The biggest issue for corporate executives is they're living in ivory towers. The reason we're so unstoppable is because I, the CEO of the company, am in the craft. In the craft, meaning this is me literally writing the copy to a post at 11 o'clock this morning. So what really gets...
Yeah, Gary's in the trenches, hey. Like, he knows what's worked because he's trying it. I mean, what his team are doing, they're sending him videos every day through WhatsApp, and he's writing the captions for them, And then he's dropping in and looking at the comments. He's looking at things that he's tagged in. And what he said about that CEO, right, that posted on LinkedIn, and instead of just doing the boring corporate safe update, I mean, it's not really that dangerous. He wore a Bears t-shirt. I don't even know what the Bears are. Is that a baseball team or something? Football, whatever. He's obviously going to annoy some people. Some people probably don't like the Bears, but the people that do, they've got something in common. And he made a sale, I think Gary was saying in that video. Now, if you notice also in that video, the audio was terrible. It was from a mobile phone, that video. Interesting, right? Doesn't really matter. You don't even notice. Yeah. So he's a great example. I think he, evolved really well. And I think he will always do well because he's able to be authentic and shoot from the hip. One of the things that a lot of people don't know about the way that he's so polarizing is he does have this balance between being like, polarizing, which can be like a little bit confrontational, but then he's got this vibe, hasn't he? Which is like, I love you, I care about you vibe. And so he gets away with it. And Gary Vee's kind of scaled that. He knows exactly what he's doing. Okay. And he's always saying the same thing, and people misunderstand that. They think that that's something negative. That's why he's remembered, right? It's one of the most strategic things that he's done. Okay. He's not thinking about what he should post every day because he's able to recreate. Like he's got so many keynotes and interviews that are recorded that he can post. He can create content without necessarily having to record. Okay, he doesn't win because he's the best editor. He wins because he understands that attention is fragmented. Okay, and volume, context, and consistency matter. He's everywhere, and he's deliberate. Right. So let's move on from Gary V. Right. Who should we talk about next? Who have we got in the comments, by the way? Let me have a look here. We've got Tariq in the house. Removing the ammunition. Absolutely. Slim Shady. 8 Mile's a great flick. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Being real and give value. If you want people to care about your content, care about theirs. Spot on. Well done. And Jeff Abraham, I believe that is supposed to be, isn't it? And we've got Vishal from India. Okay, good to see you guys being active in the comments, doing some networking, okay? Repeat your stories, repeat your content. Like people think that they've posted one video, can't post it again in 3 months. Absolutely not true, okay? Gary is proof, actually, that likes don't pay the bills because like his views fluctuate, don't they? They go up and down, but it's consistency, trust. Sometimes he's up, sometimes he's down, doesn't matter. He's consistent. Look at let's look at Jordan Peterson next. Okay, I don't know if you guys know Jordan Peterson, but he's not the guy that you would expect to go viral on social media, is he? Like he's a ex-professor, psychologist, very smart guy, but not the sort of guy you'd expect to be polarizing on social media. So whatever you think about Jordan Peterson, you put your opinions on the shelf for a second and look at his brand mechanics. Jordan has built a global presence by doing something most creators are terrified of. He asked people to pay attention for a long time. Like he was doing 2-hour lectures on YouTube and people liked it. People paying attention, right? He started as a psychologist and professor. His early content was lectures, long lectures, like deep lectures about the human condition, okay? He was building authority through substance, but one of the things like Jordan is very good at is he can take a philosophy and simplify it. Like his book called The 12 Rules for Life. It's genius branding, right? Because it's a handle. There's simple rules. If you've read the book, I recommend it. There's simple rules, but the substance behind them is not simple, okay? That's what makes it powerful. It's the depth underneath, right? So you draw people in with these simple concepts. Tony Robbins is really good at this as well. He simplifies it. Like one of Jordan's rules for life is, what was it? Don't interrupt kids while they're skateboarding, I think it is. And it's all about letting kids take risks and things, right? And he goes on and goes in like it's been a while since I've read it, but he goes on and it makes a point that's relevant to everyone, not just kids. But Jordan has like responsibility, meaning, discipline, truth. Truth is a big one, honesty, isn't it? And Gary's attention, patience, kindness, that sort of thing, right? So both showing their values through their content, okay? And I think that's important. So write down now what your values are. What are your values and what are your beliefs and how are we going to show them through your content? I'd love to know, it's 5:21 Eastern Standard Time, Bibi. I'd love to know what you think my values are. I wonder if you can tell what they are through my content. Let me know if you know what they are in the comments. See who knows. Okay, so Jordan's delivery is part of the brand. The way he speaks does signal authority. Precision, seriousness, he's a good speaker, okay? But he's using a lot of long words, okay? The way that he can hold on to a thought is very compelling on social media, okay? The tone matches the message, but I mean, he doesn't resonate with everyone. In fact, most of his audience are men, I believe, which is interesting. You know, it's just interesting. I don't know what to make of that. Don't really have an opinion on it, but it is interesting, right? And he has a lot of haters. Like a lot of people don't like what he has to say, and you know, so be it. But your job is to take the deep stuff you know and turn it into a rule that your audience can remember on their worst day. It's an identity. That's why people share content. You know, like if somebody shares a quote card that I posted, normally it's because they believe the same thing. Like likes don't pay the bills, right? If that's part of your identity, maybe, you know, that suits you. Come along to Monday Night Live, you become part of the tribe. That's leadership and personal branding. People don't realize that. Like if you were in the record business, for example, right? And I told you to tell me a little bit about you wouldn't tell me how you make the vinyl, or I guess these days the MP3s or the technical aspects of it. you probably play me a couple of tracks of some of your artists, right? So when I asked you about your brand, I want you to play me a couple of tracks. Give me a couple of stories. Give me a little bit about your values, your beliefs. Okay, so Elon Musk is a good one because I don't believe he deliberately went out to set out to start a personal brand. You might know more about him than me. I did read one of his books, but it was a while ago. It's not his new one. But his personal brand becomes like a gravity field, right? He's not just a businessman. He's a headline. He learned very early on. Well, not early on, actually. Probably not early on for him. But it's been a while now. He learned how to get attention, didn't he? So you think that Elon went on to Joe Rogan and sparked up a joint on YouTube, knowing that it's the biggest podcast in the world by accident? You think, oh, you just made a mistake, and all the shareholders going, what did you do that for? Of course not. He knows exactly what he's doing, right? He's polarizing. He's able to capture attention. Now he has a personal brand. So whenever he launches a business, anything he puts his name to, it's got an immediate advantage. That's huge equity, right? He can post about a stock or a crypto and move the price. That's powerful. That's powerful, right? It's very powerful. That's how much attention he's got, okay? And that's created more wealth for him. He's now worth hundreds of billions of dollars, I believe. Is that what it is? Hundreds of billions? I think it's 100. I'll lose track. Gary Vaynerchuk also leans into content that suits his vibe and zone of genius. And that's him. That's talking. Yes. Yes. I mean, he does listen a lot as well, but he's talking all the time when he's on camera. I wonder what he's like off camera. I haven't met Gary Vee before, but I would imagine he's probably not too different, right? But Elon doesn't just launch products. He launches conversations, okay? He makes business feel like entertainment, and entertainment is shareable. Like when you hear him describe a product, he describes it in very simple terms, but the logic behind it would be way more complicated than that, right? He builds in public. People see the losses, the delays, the hype, the setbacks, right? That's all on purpose, okay? It's polarization. Okay, you pay attention. So when you fail at something, you can share about it, and you don't have to do it immediately, but it's valuable to share about it. You can do it after you win and share about the losses you made previously. Quick way to build trust, okay? But your values matter more than ever because attention without value is empty. You can't build relationships while trying to extract value from another human being, okay? So you can't treat the audience like a fuel pump, just getting attention from it. If you don't build trust, you're going to lose the attention. That's how you build an audience. You get attention, build trust, and you build trust by being an actual human being. If your content just looks at me, look at me, I'm awesome, I'm never wrong about anything, praise me, buy from me, people will feel it. You can tell because you know if you're on Instagram, my Instagram friends, you can see these guys that have got like, I don't know, 4,000, 5,000 followers, and they might get like 10 or 20 likes, whatever it is. It's not a huge, their likes and comments are never growing, right? Why are they never growing? Because it's all about them. Look at me, look at me, look at me. It's, you know, I'm awesome. It might be exciting at the start, a bit of a novelty, but it doesn't last. And so they always have to find new attention. It's the same as in real life, isn't it? You ever met somebody that's all about themselves? How long do you stay friends with them? I mean, how long does it take before you stop answering their calls all the time? Okay. Everything I'm talking about relates to real life. It's about relationships. All right, let's talk about the man, Slim Shady, Eminem. This is one of my favorite branding cases, right? Because Eminem, he was homeless. He got evicted from his house and then broke back into it to house squat in the, the attic, right? And even though they were homeless, like his girlfriend saved money in a jar for their daughter to go to college, and somebody broke in, stole the jar. He raps about this stuff. If you're an Eminem fan, you know what I'm talking about, okay? But he was desperate. He could rap, sure, but he was white. There's no white rappers back then, okay? He was good at rapping, but that's not why he's famous. There's so many good rappers out there. I mean, really into hip-hop. There's so many good rappers out there that never make it. So what is it that Eminem did? He created a alter ego, and he called it Slim Shady. Now, that is a branding move, okay? So what he did is he goes, look, I'm rapping about all this stuff, but it's just like, it's sort of surface level stuff that everyone's rapping about. What about if I create this character in my imagination where it's like all of the crazy thoughts I have, violent thoughts, even homophobic thoughts in some cases. Like he doesn't believe any of that stuff. They're thoughts, right? Who doesn't believe all that stuff? They're thoughts. And he talks about driving off the bridge with his ex-wife in the trunk and all sorts of stuff. So what he does, he takes a thought and he just like accentuates it and takes it to the extreme under this alter ego, this character called Slim Shady. And all of a sudden he can rap about stuff that's just so out there that all the other rappers can't talk about, that makes it polarizing. And it made him brand impossible to ignore. He could back it up with great lyrics and stuff. But if you look at his early stuff, like his first record that was successful, it's not his most lyrical record, right? So they were introduced to a character. In other words, a personal brand, right? I mean, it's not. He backed it up with authenticity as well. He still had Marshall Mathers and Slim Shady, but this is a branding exercise, right? Some days, a LinkedIn creator is going to do this. A LinkedIn creator is going to come out with an alter ego. There's going to be a mascot on LinkedIn soon, for sure. People are going to do this stuff, right? It's creative. It's smart. You can be creative with this stuff. I mean, you can learn from other industries like entertainment and apply it to LinkedIn. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. There's going to be, I mean, I don't know what LinkedIn's rules are around this, but there will be people that aren't real, either AI or whatever, on social media with their own profiles. Okay. So the advantage of an alter ego in branding is it separates you from the message just enough that you can say the unsayable without your audience rejecting you entirely. Okay. So create some theater. Does that make sense? All those thoughts that people have, that they never explored and are not allowed to talk about, he explored it, okay? He didn't try to fit in, did he? He didn't try to fit in. He created a character that forced the world to pay attention. And then he shared with him some of his most vulnerable lyrics as well. Okay, so let's talk about the moment from 8 Mile that we just saw, okay? So B-Rabbit steps up. B-Rabbit is a character in the movie, basically Eminem's life story, kind of loosely based on it. Great branding exercise. Instead of hiding his weakness, he does the opposite. He points out all of his flaws first. So he says, yep, I'm broke. I live in a trailer. I've been through all this stuff. You've got material on me. And so when he says it, the other guy can't say it back, right? He takes all the bullets out of the other person's gun, so to speak. That's a masterclass in personal branding, okay? Because when you share your own vulnerabilities and share your own story, nobody can weaponize it against you. When you admit your flaws with confidence, you disarm critics. Tell the truth. It's very hard to give someone, to criticize someone when they're telling the truth. Okay, most people do the opposite. They build their personal brand like a highlight reel. They hide the scars. Look on Instagram. They hide the mess. They hide the backstory. Okay? I'm not saying you have to share your entire life on social media. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying be real, be human. You wonder why people feel like you're a fraud. Like, if you just put your highlight reel on there, you're not real, okay? And then they panic whenever they see anything negative online about them, right? So you can learn a lot from what Eminem said. Okay, I'm just going to jump into the comments quickly here. Gary Vaynerchuk also leans into content that suits. Yes, absolutely. Hey, keep the comments coming in, guys. I want to know you're breathing. Quite inspirational. Bring people up from nowhere saying, if I could do it, you can do it too. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's a lesson for you. If you're scared of haters, you're probably hiding. If you're hiding, you're probably not building trust. And if you're not building trust, you're not building a brand that converts. It's the only thing that's going to differentiate you in the age of AI. AI can't do this. They can't be human. They're not. Okay, so it doesn't mean you trauma dump on the internet. I'll say that again, because it means you tell the truth with intention, show your humanity, but do it in a way that adds value, because people don't trust perfect. They trust honest. Okay, Eminem didn't just shock people. He also mixed humor with pain. He made some people laugh. He made them feel something. That emotional contrast is why people remember him, right? So making people feel something is why they'll remember you, and you do that through storytelling, okay? So Eminem is a great example of that. Using theater. I think we could all learn a lot from that. All right, who should we go to next? Let's see here. Who should we go to next? Let's go to Oprah, okay? We'll go to Oprah. Now, I've got a little video here on Oprah as well. This is the last video to show you, but this is pretty powerful. Let's have a look at this. Where is it? Is it?
It's so simple, but so hard to do. Always do the right thing. Be excellent. People notice. Think of how you notice. You go to Taco Bell, somebody gives you an extra napkin and some sauce. You notice. You want to go back to that person, because even at Taco Bell, excellence shows itself. Be excellent. Let excellence be your brand. Everybody talks about building a brand. I never even knew what that was. When people say, you're a brand, I would say, no, I'm just Oprah. What I recognize now is that my choice to, in every way, in every example, in every experience, to do the right thing and the excellent thing.
How cool is that? See, Oprah, everything's Oprah, right? She's got all these businesses. They've all got a name on them, magazines, talk shows, all sorts of. All she has to do is endorse a product and the business goes through the roof. So I think she's got a recommended products area on her website. What a superpower. Her brand is just who she is. She does what she says. She's real, authentic. She shows all of her. She's not edgy for the sake of it. She's just trust on legs, right? She's integrity with a microphone. That's why it's hard not to like Oprah, right? Because of the integrity piece. She realized that people were drawn to that, and she does it intentionally now. Don't get me wrong, but she chose to call her show Oprah, didn't she? Right? She's building a personal brand. She didn't have a course. She didn't have a Canva template. She didn't have a content calendar. She didn't have a brand voice. She didn't even know what a personal brand was. She just did the right thing consistently for a long time with excellence, what she believed to be, the best that she can do. Okay. It's hard to knock that, right? Like if you did the best you can do and you made mistakes, you can own them, but like if you're hiding things and it's just because you're not doing things with excellence. I think that was an awesome speech. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. But people notice when you do your best. They notice when you do the right thing when no one's watching. Like how you finish an engagement with a client is just as important as how you start one, right? Because people notice when you treat people with respect. They notice when your actions match your values. And they notice like when you start gossiping about people behind their back, gossiping about clients. Like when I was looking for a business coach, about 10 years ago now, I remember doing this. I would ask them, can you tell me about some of your clients? And the amount of coaches that would just like start splurting out all this private information about their clients just blew my mind. And then the one guy that said, that's confidential. I'd have to get their permission first was the guy I hired. It was David Guest. Not that confidentiality is necessarily like a big thing I was concerned about. It's just about integrity, right? Treating your clients with respect. They're just thinking about a sale, those ones that are blurting out all that information, right? So Oprah built her reputation by making people feel seen. Do you think she feels like she's talking with you, right? She's sitting down and talking with you. By the way, so does Gary Vee, okay? He makes you feel, he uses the word you a lot. He makes you feel like he's talking you. This kind of feels like people feel like they know him, right? You kind of feels like a brother or something like that. Okay. Do the same thing with your content. Even though you might be speaking to hundreds of people or thousands of people or whatever, people are watching it normally by themselves. So speak to one person. When you write your caption, write it like a text message. Have a vision in your head of who you're writing the caption to, and write to that person, that individual. The part that is important for you to get is Oprah's brand's not just talk show host, is it? It's transformation. People don't just watch her for entertainment. They watch because they felt like they grew. They felt like they healed. They felt like they understood themselves better. That's value, right? It's just value. That's it. Not service level value. Like it's, deep value. So always be delivering value. If that's your brand and your brand is that you deliver the most value, I think that's pretty awesome. Something that I try to do with my brand. I believe that the person that adds the most value wins. And even if it's not in the business context, I think that's the competition. When you commit to those values, to service, to truth. You evolve, you become more of yourself. It made Oprah a better person. Committing to excellence. She didn't do it just to be that, if she was working at Taco Bell, to be the person that people came back to. You might start by doing that, but you actually become a better person in the process, because you know who you are. You're proud of who you are. You get more aligned. Most people can't build a personal brand because they don't know who they are, or they're ashamed of who they are. Know who you are. Be proud of yourself. You're awesome just the way you are. Okay. Knowing who you are is the foundation of personal branding, because if you don't know who you are, you'll perform. Right? You'll copy, you'll chase trends, and you'll be different next year than you are this year, and you won't have any consistency. When somebody disagrees, you'll shrink and go, oh, because you don't know whether you're right or not. You crumble when somebody criticizes. I love it when people disagree with me in the comments of like a post or something. It just makes such a great conversation, because I know that even though I'm saying what I believe with conviction, I still know it's my opinion. I know it's my belief. I know it's not everyone's. That's completely fine. The world would be a very boring place if everyone agreed with each other. Okay. When you know who you are, you become unshakable. That's brand power. It's not the external stuff. It's the internal stuff. And I'm not saying I've got this like completely sus, but when it comes to business and personal branding and marketing, I've got a pretty good handle on it. So let's stitch all of this together, because the real theme tonight is not like, copy Gary or copy Oprah. It's about you becoming more of you. Okay. So it means you take complexity, create clarity. But that's the first thing. Make your principles simple enough to remember, but strong enough to carry weight. They all do that, okay? Polarize means you accept that if you stand for something, you will stand against something. Okay? And that's fine. That's a cost of leadership. You can't fit in and stand out at the same time. Okay? And you want to build tribes. Like people, a tribe's not an audience. An audience watches. A tribe feels like they belong. They share the beliefs. They're part of something. They don't leave. Well, it's much more difficult for them to leave. A tribe has a language, a way they talk, rituals, right? That's why people will name their tribe, people in their tribe, a certain thing, I'm trying to think of an example. I was part of a men's program that, we did this like military training every year, and we had monthly catch-ups, and it was all about being a better man. And, we were called brothers. We were the brothers. And so they're my brothers. It's like it's very rare for somebody to leave that brotherhood when they put a label on it like that, right? And you notice on YouTube, that people call their audience certain things. What do they call them? Like, what does Mr. Beast call his audience? I can't remember, but they have names for their fans, okay? And that's why they do it. So a common enemy is actually a copywriting technique. You'll notice like with really good copy, sometimes they'll incorporate a common enemy. So I don't mean you wake up every day angry. I mean the thing that you refuse to accept as normal, the status quo. What I was talking about before with digital agencies, the unethical behaviors, the manipulative tactics, the thing that you're not tolerating, the things you're doing differently. Common enemy is a definitive principle. You notice that like the mortgage brokers and the real estate guys that are doing well on Instagram and social media, their common enemy is normally the banks, isn't it? Because most people don't like banks. Big corporates, on LinkedIn, there's a lot of guys that do it through employee, like they hate like corporate leadership that treat their staff poorly, right? But that unity creates momentum. That's, Seth Godin talks about this, okay? He sums it up perfectly. People like us do things like this. That's like tribe language. That's identity. People like us do this, People like us don't spam DMs. We don't sell hype. We don't try to extract value out of somebody without adding value first. We don't sell to people without getting permission first. We don't sell to someone until we get we know that they have the problem we solve. We play the long game. We build relationships. We do things with excellence. Write down what yours is. That's how people will share your content. Very important. People don't understand this, but a lot of the successful content that you see on social media and on LinkedIn, they understand this concept. You might not realize that's what they're doing, but they are. Now, here's the part where I make this painfully practical, okay? So for you, your personal brand is not about posting more, it's leading more. Stand for something. Be the voice that says the thing everyone else, they might be scared to say. Be the person who adds the most value. Business is a game of value. I truly believe that. So here's your exercise. I want you to actually do this. So drop in the comments, guys. I'm just keeping an eye on things here. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate the feedback. What has he said here? Dave said, great session. Oprah also makes sure that her audience understands everything discussed, and so us, I guess, to explain difficult subjects so you know she cares about you. Absolutely. Brilliant. She's been doing it for a long time, man. She's incredible. And it actually translates to the guests she has on. You notice the amount of respect that they have when they come on a show? Crazy. So here's your exercise. I want you to actually do this. So write down 10 things that you believe. You know, you don't have to write them down now, but write down a note to do it. 10 things that you believe, 10 things that are wrong with your industry. You know, 10 things that people accept that you just think is nonsense, right? Things that you read or you hear people say that you just think that's bullshit. 10 things that go against the grain, and you could develop your whole content strategy around this. That's your brand. Keep it consistent. Say it over and over and over again, right? That's your content plan. That's your edge. Your competitors aren't doing this. Most of them don't get this. Okay, my common enemy, like, is digital agencies that load up 50 clients per account manager and still call it a premium service because they've been ripping people off for far too long. When people come to me, they've generally been ripped off, and they're like, "Oh, how do I know you're not going to rip me off like those guys?" And I'm like, "Well, let me tell you about my common enemy." Well, don't say it like that, but you know what I mean. Okay, so generally, like, they have to invest a bit more to get access to somebody that, like me, who's going to manage their strategy directly. I'm not passing it on to an account manager. Why? For this very reason. Like, my commitment to my clients when they come on board is to deliver results. Like, there's some things that are outside my control, sure, but you won't find a client that's worked with me that will say that I didn't deliver on my part of the bargain, right? I've been doing this 12 years. Well, you might find a couple, I don't know. But I'd like to think that you won't, right? I think that the guys that are running all those ads and are spending all the money on sales, offering all those guarantees, I can tell you right now, you're going to be one of between 50. Some of them have like 150 accounts that they're managing. If you're a Google advertising campaign manager or an SEO campaign, if you've got 150 accounts, you could not manage them properly. Okay. They're using automation. The reports are automated. It's just all about, they're spending more time calling you half an hour a week than they are working on your campaign. Trust me. All they've got to do is know more than you to be able to convince you. And then if it's not working, they'll say, throw some more money into it. Okay. I mean, I can't stand it. The point, they're just in business to extract value, right? They're not adding value. So the point isn't to pick an enemy to be dramatic. It's about to pick a stance about what you stand against. Okay. And it's just poor performers in your industry, competitors that aren't doing a good job is a great one. Okay. Write out your 10, pick 2 of them. You only need 2, okay? Because we want to be repetitive, okay? 2 that make you feel something, okay? Then that's what I want you to do. So then you turn those 2 beliefs or principles and you distill them. You make them simple, make them repeatable. How do you word that in a way that's repeatable and punchy? Make them memorable. Likes don't pay the bills. I say that all the time, don't I? There's other guys that say it, by the way, but I didn't get it from those guys. I developed it myself, and I say I don't care. I don't care if other people say it. It doesn't matter. I think it's good that other people say it. It shows that that's a good phrase. Likes don't pay the bills. I actually called an event that last year. Okay. And I truly believe that, because everyone's talking to all these digital agencies. They measure likes and followers. Doesn't mean shit. I know lots of people with 300,000 followers can't pay their bills. Okay. It's like a handle, you know, followers don't matter. Relationships do. That's what I believe. Okay. And you can't build a relationship while trying to extract value. I keep saying it, but it's true. And one of the things I will say, though, is if you're not getting any traction with your content, because I've been there, it's always looks like it's not working just before it does work. Remind yourself of this, okay? When an airplane takes off, okay, it doesn't take off with the wind. I don't know if you know this or not, but it takes off against the wind, right? And that friction is what actually causes it to be able to take off. So, you know, when you're experiencing that friction, keep going, because that's when you break through. It always happens before you break through. Everyone that's successful in content has been through that. I promise you. Okay. And you might look at some of the successful guys and think they don't get it still now, but they do. You know, just because it's like, you know, 1 million instead of 10 million, to them, that's like, that's a lull, right? That's some friction. Most haters, they don't hate you. They hate what you represent. They hate your confidence. They hate your consistency. They hate the fact that you got off the couch and did something with your life, okay? They're a good thing. if you're not getting them, you're not being proactive enough. Okay. So the hate will remind you, and it's not hate anyway. It's like criticism. It's like, I can't do that. So I'm going to criticize you and say, oh, the only reason you did that is because you're looking for attention or whatever it is. Okay. If you're scared of what they say, name it first. Say it with confidence. Own it. You don't even have to do it out loud. You could write it down on a document and then just be mindful of it. So you're not hiding it, right? There's nothing people can say to me at a conference where I'm going to like run out the back door because it's, so embarrassing or criticized. Like I know everything that people could say about me and I'm prepared for it because I've had the conversation. If someone's going to call you too direct, you can say, well, yes, because vague advice keeps people stuck, right? So there's always a positive for every negative, all right? And if somebody's going to call you too much, you can say, well, look, average doesn't change lives. When I first started building my personal brand, I think it was like 14 years ago. This was like, it wasn't necessarily to do with social media back then. I think there was YouTube back then. But I remember I used to go to like train people on digital marketing and they'd say, oh, I was expecting you to be a wanker, right? Because you put yourself out there and you're actually, genuine guy. It's just because they see like images of you and they think it's tall poppy syndrome in Australia, right? It's starting to change a little bit. It is. But if they look a little bit deeper, they'll realize there's a lot more to it. I think people put you down because they're afraid to do it. They're afraid to stand out, afraid of what people will think, afraid of what their boss will say. That's why not many people do it. So that's why only 1% of people on LinkedIn are actually posting content. That's why. All 99% of them are scared of what other people think. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't blame them for it. That's how we're conditioned. Okay. But it's fear. Any decision made from fear is, you just got to practice, throw yourself out there. And eventually you get so used to it, you don't even think about it. Okay. I worried about that for a long time. And when I started posting videos to start with, all my friends were saying, what the hell are you doing that for? Because not only did I look like an idiot, like having a cameraman show up all the time that I was paying for, I didn't have any results. I was getting like 1 or 2 likes here and there. That was going on for about a year until I worked out a few nuances and started to get some attention. They all thought I was crazy. Those same guys, came back a year and a half, 2 years later and say, oh, wow, you're so lucky. How did you, build this brand? It's not a big brand, but the quality of the relationships that I built translated into a really awesome business network. And that's what I want for you. I don't want you to be the guy that's got 500,000 followers. I want you to be the guy that's got 500 or 5,000, but you've got great relationships with people right in your target market that trust you. They would go to war for you in the comments. Okay. So, that's a hidden benefit. And building a personal brand helps you build yourself. Okay. So if you commit to value, integrity, and service, you become the kind of person that people trust. Okay. So you're setting a higher standard. It's reputation. Okay. I just wanted to say thank you for being here, guys. We're wrapping up now because it's close to an hour. This is a very passionate topic of mine. Let me know your feedback in the comments and go out there and share some vulnerable stories on your personal brand. I want you to tell me in the comments, if you haven't already, what are the values and beliefs that you stand for? Right? What are you going to stand against? And when you're posting your content this week, make sure you tag me and put the hashtag Monday Night Live. I mean, this show, I really would like to build it to be the #1 weekly live show on LinkedIn, Monday Night Live. I think we're delivering a lot of value. I think the community's awesome. Everyone's taking action. We don't just talk about things, we execute. I've had a lot of people that have been very successful off the back of this. So I'd love it if you could share what you learned about Monday Night Live, share the episode, share it with your network. I'm sure it'll add value to them. And I'd appreciate your support, but keep an eye out. If you haven't already, go to my profile, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Monday Night Live. And I'll see you next week here on LinkedIn or YouTube. But have a great week in business. I'm rooting for you and I look forward to seeing your posts online. All right. Peace.